Welcome back, everyone. So, let me review the main points for you, and hopefully we can learn something about futures altogether. So, apparently, this uses the example of the farming business. So, when you're growing a crop, you are predicting that at some point in the future, you will have harvested your crop and you will have something to sell. But in order perhaps to get investment in order to grow those crops, you ask investors to pay for the crops before they have grown and been harvested. So you can sell them at a certain price, you set that price, and then even if the sort of market value of the crops goes up or down, the people who have already paid, that's the fixed price, and they could potentially make a profit if they can then sell those crops for more if the price has gone up, or they could risk making a loss if the market value has gone down in the time in between they paid and that future date. So that's the explanation. And so one particular farmer, he had a regular customer, a particular firm that often bought crops, and they purchased his crops at, I think it was about $17 per bushel. Bushel is a unit of measurement for crops.
Some crops.
Some crops. And as time went on, as it got nearer to the harvest date, the price of those crops went up to about 40, a lot more, significantly more value. So when the initial deal was made, it was done by text message, which doesn't sound super professional or a great idea to me, but apparently they always did it this way. It was just a casual message, you know, can we purchase your crops, this price? And he'd say, okay, and it was a done deal. But on this particular occasion, he didn't say, yes, okay. He just sent a thumbs up emoji. They assumed that meant yes, okay, and so proceeded with the deal, and then were surprised when the crops did not get delivered when they'd been harvested. The farmer claimed that he had never actually agreed to the deal. The thumbs up emoji was supposed to indicate he was thinking about it and would get back to them later. Of course, when this went to court, they were arguing over what is the meaning of the thumbs up emoji, and the court eventually decided, based on their previous interactions, that the company were quite justified in assuming the farmer meant yes to the deal. So he had to deliver the crops as previously agreed, and unfortunately he lost that case.
Yeah.
But I think that sounds like a reasonable outcome.
Well, one thing I don't understand is if it was I'll think about it, when they finalized the deal, futures is all about getting the money before you get the product, which means he got the money before the date set. So at that time, he should have been like, if it really were, let me think about it, he should have said, hey, I don't know about this yet. We need to talk about it. But he didn't, which means he accepted the money. And according to the article, it seems like he accepted the money, although it doesn't. I don't know.
This part wasn't made clear, but you make a great point. Yes, surely they must have paid up front. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So yes, although I just love the thought of a court having a debate over the true meaning of the thumbs up emoji and how one could argue it means different things.
Just wait till they get to the peaches and the cucumber emojis.
Oh yes.
What is the meaning of this peach?
Maybe one day we, as language teachers, could end up teaching the different meanings of various emojis, because maybe they have cultural context and other...
Correct. Yes, a peach can just be a peach sometimes.
It can be,
yes.
But not always.
But not always.
Do you know much about farming, John? Anything about the farming business?
I mean, a little bit.
What do you know? Well, tell us. I know
a little
nothing.
bit.
I know nothing.
I mean, I think, of course, farming has gone from that vision that we see in Hollywood of the not single, but probably a family man standing in the field with his pitchfork, and he has that one tractor that he drives along. Of course, this has changed a lot since that sort of ideal has been put out in media. A lot of farming equipment is automated now. It actually is able to harvest a lot more at a lot quicker time. There's GMOs out there. There's best practices that have been changing, and it's often a huge unit. And in fact, the farmer who owns the farm may not even do any farming themselves. They might just order it to others. So yeah, it's definitely come into a much more streamlined and mass-producing sort of quality to farming these days. There are still those small-time farms, for sure. But of course, the big ones are not going to be acting or going that way.
Yeah, it's an industrial system these days.
Exactly.
In order to feed 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It has to be.
In the article, did you notice the author described investing as a zero-sum game? But I wasn't sure about that term, zero-sum game.
Yeah.
For investments. What do you think?
Well, let me make this clear for you. Basically, I think the author is trying to talk about futures alone, because futures is a zero-sum game. If it goes up in price, the company or the farmer loses. If it goes down in price, the company wins. I said that wrong. If it goes up in price, the farmer wins and the company loses. And if it goes down in price, the farmer loses and the company wins. So there is a winner and a loser, right? But in normal investing, that's not the case. If the company is doing well, the investor is doing well, and that's a win-win. So yeah, I feel like zero-sum is true for some investing, not all. And I think that's about it.
Very well explained, yes. So
I hope so.
See if you can fit the term zero-sum game into your discussion.
Don't let it be an enigma to you.
And maybe check out some of those other vocabulary words and see if you can include them in your speaking today. And we will see you in the next article. Bye-bye.
Enigma.
Enigma.
Zero-sum game.
Zero-sum game.
Bushel.
Bushel.
Duly.
Julie.
Make a killing.
Make a killing.